Welcome to my channel. In the previous two videos in this History of British Literature series, we have talked about the Old and the Middle English periods. Moving to the third stop in this journey, today in this video we are going to talk about the age of Chaucer. If you have not already watched the previous videos in this series, I would suggest that you do, because it will help you to understand this particular one better. Okay, and not just that, you'll also be storing your information in your brain in a chronological way, because this becomes useful for your exam. This is something which I have been saying before as well. So like I said, now we have arrived at our third stop in this journey of history of British literature, right? And this is the age of Chaucer. I already have multiple videos on Chaucer's Canterbury Tales on my YouTube channel itself. Make sure you watch them before your exam preparations, okay? In my online course, I have delved into this magnum opus of Chaucer, that is the Canterbury Tales, in a much more detailed way, since it's very important, not just for the NET exam preparation, but for other competitive exams as well. Now, in this video, we'll briefly cover the age of Chaucer and Chaucer's biography. Before we delve into Chaucer himself, let's just set the stage with some key historical events of this time. The first important event is the 100 Years' War, which, as the name suggests, lasted for over a century, that is from 1337 up till 1453. This series of conflicts was fought between England and France. Remember the Battle of Hastings that we had discussed in this series before? England's loss there, that was a sore point, and they were determined to reclaim their territory. One of the notable battles where England won was thanks to this method called the longbow method. Next, we have the Black Death. Now, this was a catastrophic plague that swept through Europe, killing an estimated 1/3 of the population in just 5 years. Imagine that. This massive loss of life also had deep social and economic impacts. The devastation from the Black Death and the financial strain of the 100 Years' War, they together, it led to widespread hardship, especially for the peasants, for the poor people. They were overburdened with taxes to fund the war, with simultaneously grappling with famine and disease. This discontent culminated in the Peasants' Revolt of 1381, a significant uprising against the oppressive economic conditions. This was led by a man named Wat Tyler. And now let's dive into the life and works of Geoffrey Chaucer, one of the most significant figures in English literature. His influence was so profound that you can see that this entire era from 1343 to 1400, it's known as the age of Chaucer, right? Interestingly, we do not know the exact year of his birth, so we estimate it to be around 1343. Chaucer, he is also often referred to as the father of English literature. He had a diverse career, he was a courtier, he was a diplomat, he was a civil servant, and he got to serve under three kings, Edward III, Richard II, and Henry IV. His experiences in these roles exposed him to a wide array of people and stories, which deeply influenced his writing as well. Also, to tell you an interesting fact, King Edward III was so impressed by Chaucer's writings that he granted him a gallon of wine daily. Interesting, isn't it? Now, see, Chaucer was somebody who lived a very interesting kind of a life, in the sense that, he participated in the 100 Years' War. He traveled extensively across Europe. Imagine in those days. These travels, they allowed him to meet diverse people and experience different cultures that enriched his perspective. That is why traveling is important. This exposure is reflected in his writing, particularly in the Canterbury Tales. That's a collection that captures the essence of various characters from different walks of life. This work, which is his magnum opus, I've been saying this, it's a brilliant collection of stories told by pilgrims who were traveling to Canterbury, to this Canterbury Cathedral. This work not just provides a vivid portrait of medieval society, but also showcases Chaucer's wit and keen observation. I already have videos on Canterbury Tales on my channel. I have multiple videos on that. Watch them if you want to study in depth. Now, while the Canterbury Tales remains Chaucer's most famous work, he wrote several other important works as well. For example, he wrote this work called The Parliament of Fowls, which is a poem where birds gather to discuss love and marriage, and that also showcases Chaucer's playful use of allegory. He also wrote this another work titled Troilus and Crusade, that's a tragic love story set during the Trojan War. Shakespeare later adapted this tale, but Chaucer's version had laid the groundwork for that, okay? So do remember this. Remember that his use of the English vernacular rather than Latin or French, which was the norm at that time, that helped elevate English as a literary language, okay? Now, let's briefly also talk about the Canterbury Tales here. The poem, it follows a group of pilgrims traveling to the shrine of Thomas Becket in Canterbury. To pass the time, they each tell stories, each of the pilgrims, and that results in a vivid tapestry of medieval life, okay? Originally, Chaucer had planned for 120 tales, so we have 30 pilgrims and each pilgrim would be telling 4 tales, 2 on the way to Canterbury and 2 on the way back, so that makes it 120. However, he only managed to complete 24 tales before his death, and despite being unfinished, this collection remains a cornerstone of English literature. For a deeper analysis, you can enroll in my online course for comprehensive lectures on each important tales and other works of Chaucer. Just visit my website theankitajain.com or call on the number showing on screen. To sum up, Chaucer's influence extended far beyond his lifetime. You'll see that he later inspired a group of writers who were known as the Scottish Chaucerians, and these writers, they emulated Chaucer's style in the 15th century. And this is again something that you need to know about, something which I have taken up in my online course as well. Remember that if you are preparing for competitive exams like UGC NET, Chaucer is a highly important writer, and my online course covers everything in detail. Visit theankitajain.com for more information and to enroll. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already, and do not forget to press the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload a new video. If you want to get in touch with me, make sure that you follow me on my social media, that's Instagram and Facebook. Also, if you want to access some free material, study material, then download my app and also join my Telegram channel for free PDFs. On that note, I bid you goodbye, but we part only to meet again soon in the next video. Take care and thank you so much for watching.